Hi there, I'm Dr. Chung and welcome to your friendly proctologist. Thanks so much for joining me. My goal with these videos is to bring you useful, helpful, and real information. I want to give you guys tips, things that will build your knowledge about your bottom end so that we don't have to be afraid anymore. If you've got a couple of seconds, please help me reach more people by clicking that like button and that subscribe button. Thank you so much again. Let's get to today's question, okay? The question is, what's the best diet for constipation? Wow. Great question. I mean, I don't know how many times I get asked this, but I get asked this a lot, a great deal, okay? And my background is not nutrition, so don't start busting out a notepad and say, okay, Dr. Chung is going to tell me all the foods I can eat. So I'm going to go to the grocery store and get exactly that. I'm not doing that today. A little bit. But that question is such a good one because everybody is searching for that perfect diet, right? And there's so many competing interests, meaning we want to gain bulk. You know, the bodybuilders or people that want to have a little bit more strength. There's a diet for that. If you want to lose weight, well, there's 10 trillion different diets for that. If you are adapting to another culture, well, every culture in the world has that. So lots of different varieties. Then, of course, you have people that have high blood pressure, have had a heart attack in the past, diabetes, blah, 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 blah. But all those diets, what do they not consider? Well, they don't really care whether you're constipated or not, or whether you're having diarrhea all the time or not. And it's really unfortunate, but that's the difficulty of life and the medical conditions around it. There's no perfect fit. And so, yes, I feel for every one of you that are dealing with this because it is very challenging, okay? You know, you want to have something you feel like it's going to really benefit you, but you can't have it because X, Y, and Z. And so you got to think of some other things, right? So I want to try and give you some different alternatives with this video to try and avoid constipation. Okay, let's break down the question like we always do. What is the best diet? We kind of broke that down. Diet is it's really a habit, right? It's a cultural thing. It's a self-esteem thing. It's what is the best things to put in our mouth on a regular basis. You know, is there some routine or basic formula that you're using for your foods that you eat to avoid constipation? So what is constipation? Whew, another huge topic. But I'm going to just break it down a little bit. You know, constipation means so many different things to many people. And so when a doctor hears you say, Doc, I'm constipated, that fires off 10 things in their head. So that I'm automatically thinking, and your specialist, your colorectal surgeon specialist, is thinking, well, which type of constipation is it? Or which combination of which? You know, how am I going to fix that? Those are the things that are running through their minds automatically. Well, I'm going to assume that constipation in this video is you have hard stools, okay? The big, massive blocks or rocks that are in your bottom end, which take longer to move through, require more effort for you to push out, and they're not friendly to your butthole at all because they're so rough. And, you know, because they don't compress at all, it's difficult to have that bowel movement, okay? You got to do a lot of straining sometimes. So with that understanding, the question again is, what is the best pattern of foods, or what can I take to avoid constipation? All right. The first thing I'll say is many people know if there's a type of food, certain thing that makes them more complicated. okay? And I always start there because instead of throwing a book at the patient or saying, here's a diet for you, follow this, I want people to preserve their current lifestyle as much as possible. Because the moment you upset things and you blow up their world and say, what you're doing is all wrong, it's terrible, you're going to kill yourself, or your poop is going to be hard forever, you know, like some kind of curse. I don't do that. I want, because again, the food is so important to every human being. You know, when you go out with your certain amount of friends, you know, most likely you guys hang out together because you like the similar types of foods. When you eat with your family, same thing, you know. If it's a cultural thing, you know, your families all come together and there is at least several different ethnic foods because of tradition. And it's self-esteem, meaning when you eat a food that you love or you're craving, it satisfies something deep in your head and deep in your soul. I mean, if you can understand that, I mean, I think most people do. It's that important. And so that's the thing I take care of most, because if you were to upset somebody's routine, yeah, the person who's really desperate to change things, that person, he or she will do it. I have no doubt there are people like that in the world. But how long can this person keep it up? And when you want to think about the long term, right? We want changes that will improve your situation until the day you die, okay? What is it that's going to motivate that person and still maintain their happiness and their diet and the food they want to eat, okay? So going back, I always see what they know causes this hard poop. Because if that is the case, the first thing to do is suggest, well, have you tried eating less of it? Like, for example, 4th of July, I had a 12-ounce steak, you know, Dr. Chung. And the next morning, oh man, I knew it. I knew I was going to pay for it. And guess what? I had the hardest rock and oh, my hemorrhoids were killing me. And so then I said, okay, that's a great start. How about if you had a 6-ounce steak instead? Maybe cut that in half. Do you think you'd still have the same issues? You know, maybe you can substitute that rest of that meat for something else. You know, something you know doesn't constipate you. And the patient will say, you know what, I don't know, I've never tried, but you know what, when I do go out and eat smaller pieces of steak, like let's say if I had surf and turf, I've got a lobster and I've got steak, I know I don't have issues then. And that's what I'm talking about, okay? Or some people say if I eat a lot of carbs, I'll get really constipated, I have hard poop, whoo, you know, whoo, that's a tough day at work, you know? And what if you ate less of it? So again, I'm not trying to upset things, but I say, don't do that. You're a bad boy. You're a bad girl. Don't do that. That's terrible. What are you doing? Why are you screwing up your whole life? It's try to make small adjustments. So there are those types of things. What's next, okay? The next thing is sometimes I like to integrate a diet that's well known in the world. It's something you can easily look up on Google. It's called a low residue diet. This low residue diet means, in other words, a low fiber diet, okay? And if you see my other videos on fiber, you know I don't think fiber is the godsend that all the other doctors on this planet think it is. I think the fiber manufacturing advertisers have done a really good job really misleading the public, okay? There is a certain amount of fiber that every person needs, and it is not, the recommendation should not be more fiber is better for you, okay? So a low residue is exactly the opposite. You really scale back that fiber, very low fiber foods, okay? So let me read a few examples, okay? Because is this like a cabbage and cabbage and bland diet? No, it's not. So foods you can have, for example, you can have like clear juices, broths, certain raw vegetables like seedless, skinless cucumber. You can have some raw fruits like apricots, bananas. Bananas is a good one for me because when I have a banana every day, I actually have very soft poop, okay? Honeydew melon. You can have butter, vegetable oils, fish, eggs, poultry. You can have well-cooked meat, finely ground, okay? This is not a diet where it's like, you know, you can't eat anything, right? This diet, the purpose is to have fewer bowel movements, lower quantity of bowel movements, and not push things along, okay? Because what does fiber do? Fiber does the exact opposite. Fiber groups your poops, groups your poops, bulks them up, in other words, makes them bigger. Low residue, opposite. It makes them more, almost looser, but it's not diarrhea, okay? Very, very soft. And then the other, that was my mailman, sorry. The other thing that it does is it makes you have fewer because it's not as big anymore, so it's smaller volume, okay? Fiber pushes things along and makes you have more bowel movements. This is designed to do less, okay? So now that I've kind of blown your mind here, there's a diet out there that actually does this. Do I recommend you be on low residue diet for the rest of your life? No, I'm not saying that. But there are components of it that if you really like it, that you know are low fiber, maybe these are things you can integrate into your life so that you don't really overstep that fiber boundary for your body, right? It's something to experiment with, and I feel that learning about what your body does or reacts to these foods is something that can be really revealing and even very helpful so that you don't feel like you need to be on all these laxatives and things like that so that, you know, you feel like you're always on medication, right? What's another thing that I counsel people on? Well, another way to battle constipation is, of course, with water, right? Drinking more water, making sure that your body has good hydration. What that does to help you is that your kidneys don't sense that low water level, and when they feel like they have enough water, they don't signal the colon to steal more water from your poop. Because the colon is very good at doing that, and that's what makes your poop hard. And so that's why you also need to drink water throughout the day, because if you just take, 2 drink breaks, one like 5 hours after you wake up and then one before bed, those hours in between, the body is searching for that water because it needs it 24/7. And then it will steal it from your poop. So you shouldn't be surprised that things are not going well. But if you drink it throughout the day, your colon doesn't have the need, doesn't get the signal to steal things from your poop. Okay? And so in terms of dietary things, including water, those are my main techniques there, and the rest of it come from your story. Definitely I try and tease things out based on your story, and there's a lot of different things that I catch, which is I find fascinating, and it gives me satisfaction for my job. But the other things to try are medications, which I will bring up in another video, because I plan on doing videos, and many people have suggested this as well. Take each part of each medication that I can prescribe or help people with and explain it. Why is it helpful? How is it taken? How long can I take it for? When should I use it? Etc., etc. And so I plan to do all those things for you as well. So I really appreciate you spending your time. Please like and subscribe to these videos. I thank you and I appreciate you so much. You take care. Bye-bye.